The loan officer I'm about to talk to is currently trying to scale up his team. However, he's having struggle with the communication between the different departments. My guest co-host and I, we talk with him how to structure his week in order so he can have better communication with his team, but at the same time that he can focus on sales to scale his business. So we talk with him about the Slump Buster method, the 6 different S's that will help him grow his business. All of this in the next episode of the Loan Officer Hotline. Steve, how's it going, man?
It's going real well. How's things?
Things are great, brother. Pleasure meeting you. I don't think we've actually met before, have we?
No, I don't believe so.
Awesome. And do you know John? John's the CEO of Empire. They do about $1.5 billion a year in volume. So he's the CEO, founder of them, and he's guest hosting with me today.
No.
What's up, Steve?
Oh, nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you.
All right, cool. So I got your intake form, and I'm just going to quickly review it so John hears it and making sure that everything is correct and we go in the direction that you want. Because I really want, by the time we're done with today's call, is that you have some good clarity on where you should focus. And so you're currently closing 5 to 7. You're wanting to about double that. Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
And here's the question. This one here. You're currently getting 10 to 20 leads per month, and only 10% of those are turning into pre-approvals. Is that accurate?
I would say probably. I'm not actually tracking it as probably as good as I should.
Okay, that was one question I had, because if you're closing 5 to 7, you're getting 20 let's just say 20 leads per month. Is like the numbers just don't quite match.
That was more on an annual average, just because we go through peaks and valleys here in Ohio. So I'm just kind of taking into consideration peak purchase season.
Okay, cool. Got it. And you got a small team, 2 people. They handle set up initial loan submission through funding. And so is that more like processing they're doing?
Yeah. We've recently kind of restructured the team. Our loan officer assistant was just kind of doing some basic front end admin things, but we've been training her, and now she's breaking down contracts, getting disclosures basically set up and pushed out. She's scrubbing the file, getting it submitted to underwriting. And then my loan partner, she essentially takes it from conditional loan approval through closing.
Okay. Beautiful. And your biggest bottleneck you feel is inconsistent processes and systems. And you're delegating, staying in our lanes with proper expectations of borrower agent communication as part of the sales process. We all work remote. I want help with setting up daily process systems to focus on sales activities to generate more business. Is that accurate?
Hey, real quick, if you're a loan officer or a branch manager and your business is stuck, whether it's because you don't have enough business coming in or you're having trouble getting the business closed, I want to help you. I do free loan officer hot seats where I invite loan officers on one at a time, and I help them fix the biggest issue in their business that's stopping them from to grow. Now, if this is something that interests you, in the description is an intake form. Fill that out. Let me know a little bit about your business, and I'll personally review it. If it's something I think that I can help, then my team will reach out to you and we'll get you scheduled for one of our upcoming hot seats.
Yeah, 100%. We're kind of separating the sales and the operation.
Yep.
Most of the deals that come through are based off of my activities and my past clients. My loan partner, Lisa, she's a 15-year veteran loan officer, really good operationally, but she doesn't like to go out and get the deals. So we've kind of set that team mindset up, and we're just now within the last couple months starting to flow with this new process. We've been working towards it, and we're getting better, but we can always improve. And that's what I'm trying to do. Focus on the sales, get it set up, and then basically be able to hand it off and just do weekly touch points. Tuesday updates, calling folks, shaking hands, kissing babies. But I find myself kind of getting pulled into certain things and whatnot. I did recently just establish a private email. So now all my operational emails, because all the deals close in my name, the operation emails go to them so they can get signatures and follow up on that type of stuff. And then I have my private email, which has been huge. I can already see it saving me some time because I'm not reading the emails and filtering it and whatnot. And I'm got this new headset. So I've been able to, that's actually, I didn't think it would help me get through so many calls, but like I'm getting through so many more phone calls just because of the headset. It's wild.
Yeah. That's funny. Finding all those edges that you can. Okay.
Yeah.
And what issues are you having? It sounds like you guys are running into each other's lanes. Kind of you and your ops person. Can you kind of explain what's going on there?
My assistant, our assistant Misty, she's not new to the business, but she's new to this side of it. She would take some calls, schedule some appointments, but now we're actually getting her more into the meat and potatoes of the deals, and she just doesn't know what she doesn't know. She just needs more cracks at the bat. So sometimes we'll miss various things and whatnot. So we're trying to get her more up to speed to be able to support us. And if she gets this answer, getting her to the point where she knows the next question to ask instead of like having to jump in and get me involved in it.
And how do you handle that currently?
Well, right now
Are you just waiting?
I just understand that she doesn't know what she doesn't know, and I just answer the
Yeah,
question and get her back on track. And then we may not have that question come up for, a month or so, and then
right.
that's just the ebbs and flows of the business. So really just getting her up to speed. It's already helping, but we're just not
Yep.
there yet. And anything that I could do training wise to get her set up, Lisa's a beast. Like, she's really good. Once it gets in her lane, I don't really mess with it too much, but it's just the initial setup, getting her confident with her decision-making process and keeping things flowing.
Okay, and so is she doing, like, when you're giving that instruction and coaching, is it sticking? And then, like, next time, for the most part, maybe she's not 100% of the time, but 80% of the time she does it the new way, or the thing that she learned, or is it
Yeah,
constantly coming back to you?
I would say yeah, but I mean there's always something different. It's like
Yeah.
80% of the time it's the same. It's that 20% variable, that she just needs time in the game.
Well, that's good, because the reason I'm asking that is because sometimes we, as leaders and hunters, and hey, we're type A, we've been doing this for a while, is that we have sometimes wrong expectations for what somebody and how quickly and how things should be, and for certain positions, and like for what it sounds like for me, and this is actually is if things are going well with this person. Like, you can see, like, her baseline of knowledge is there, and you teach her something, her knowledge goes up here. My concern is that after you taught her, it came back down here again. But what it might be doing is that it might not stay at that, it might come here, but now her baseline is increased.
Yeah, I would
And then
say
every
that's
time you have to do that, would be more correct.
yeah, I would say that's a little bit more correct.
That's great, because in that case, that's somebody that's workable, because you can't expect her to have this knowledge,
Exactly.
up here, right? And so you're going to work your way to get to that spot. Now, if you notice that if it keeps coming back to her lower baseline, that's when you have a problem. And that's where it might be is a training thing, a person thing, or whatever. But if it's going up and slightly down and back up there, that's just the natural progression of somebody that's learning something new for them. And so for me, is if I'm in that position, is that I'm having a slight orient of my own personal mind is things are going good. Right? Is like, if you have wrong expectations of how things should look, is even if things are going good, you don't feel that they're going good. Like, you actually have a negative thing, right? Would this be more of an accurate assessment of actually how it is that things are progressing? Now it just needs time.
Yeah, I definitely think we're definitely progressing. We're going in the right direction. But, as the leader of the team, I don't know what I don't know. I was an individual LO for so long. So building and working with a team is something that I'm learning as well. So
Of course, in which why I'm glad you're on this call.
yes,
I've built
sir.
lots. Obviously, John has built a massive company here, and this is what I have found is actually has saved me so much stress. Is once I learned this concept, is that if they constantly are able to increase their base, which is great. Let me give you an example where it's the opposite, where I had to learn differently of this concept here. Like, so I had an employee, very smart. She learned things pretty darn quickly, but she kept constantly coming back to me for things of like, where, hey, figure it out yourself type of thing. Like, why aren't you doing these? Weren't things like learning like certain things about the mortgage, just things like, hey, come up with your ideas and do it. But what I realized is that I trained her to come back to the default. I didn't train her to is, okay, when you're at this spot, before you come back to me, is I want you to do these 2 or 3 things. I want you, like, in her case, it wasn't like a mortgage position. It was more administrative type of position, dealing with clients and stuff. Is if you have this problem, before you come and say, DJ, what do I do here? I want you to think about it and give me 2 or 3 different solutions that how you think that I would respond to this. And then
Absolutely.
every time that when I started doing that, she would come now with me. Sometimes I have to tweak the way that she would think on that. Okay, number 2 is good. However, I would do this a little bit different. And what happened is that she no longer then started coming back to her baseline that actually I created that in the way that I trained her, is that now she would come up with her own ideas, and eventually is that 90+% of the time it's totally fine what she comes up with the solutions, and the 10% of the times that it was not the way that I would have done it, it's worth it to me because we are so much further ahead than we were been if I just kept reverting back to, or she kept reverting back to the way it was.
Yeah,
Right. So
that's a great nugget.
yeah, so I really feel that you're in a great spot there. So what I would like to talk about is if you're open to this, if you really want to stay more on this, you have more questions on this, let me know. But when I see you at 10 to 20 leads per month, I want to see if we can get you to 40, 50 plus leads per month. How would
Yeah,
that?
part of it is my own problem. I actually fell out of love with the mortgage business a few years ago. I was transitioning from a retail shop to a broker because I was tired of the middle management and begging for pricing exceptions and whatnot. And
Yeah.
on the way out, they sued me out of spite for
Oh.
non-compete, and it just kind of jaded me to some things, and I was kind of jaded to some unloyal real estate partners and whatnot, and I started going into some outside business activities, which I'm bringing to a close, and I'm wanting to jump back into my bread and butter, the thing that I know the most about, which is the mortgage lending. So I can definitely get those leads up. I actually just
Okay.
started a new coaching platform, but yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I saw you're with Wally and Kai
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah, I'm actually doing the pre-work. I start on May 14th. I'm also been getting into the reverse mortgage. I just got back from Tennessee with the reverse mortgage summit to kind of get into that Wally program with financial planners to add some value
Yeah.
there. That's what I want to go. I want to go that direction as opposed to relying on real estate agents.
That's great. I know those guys they're buddy of mine. I actually helped them do some of their coaching with their company, so that's
Yeah,
kind of
kind of
cool. And they
like
saw
you.
that.
I've kind of followed them on, different mortgage lenders' social media platforms for a while, and I'm excited to go down that path with them.
That's great. So you're probably too early for me to go into because I know the program inside and out. But yeah, follow the system. Those wealth partners, developing those relationships, you'll do great. So I guess if that's the case, I mean, do you want to talk more about that, or it's like, okay, hey, I know what I need to do, and I'm just going to go after it.
I mean, we can talk about whatever. I'm game. I know this business is just very multifaceted. So, that's basically my story. I'm just looking to ramp it up, trying to put some efficiencies in, train my staff, I wouldn't say my staff even, I would say my team members. I want to get them on the same process, the same sales process that I'm on, which is a little bit difficult remotely. If I was in the same office, you could just yell over to them or we could have a staff meeting, but
Yeah.
we're in different locations, which makes it a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah. I have 50, 60, 70 employees. I should have the count of it. And the people that work for me in my business, and I'm the only one that's in the United States. Even my business partner is in a different country. And so we're all over the world. I think we're in 5 of the 7 continents. And the last one we're going to hire is a penguin. Once we get Australia, then we'll hire a penguin. So then we got all 7 continents. It can be done. Okay. And so let me give you I won't go in depth on this, but it'll give you the idea of how anything you could apply this. I call this the slump buster, but you can apply this to anything that you want to grow, improve, and ultimately you want to scale. And so it's most people when they do things, they're trying things new. They start, they stop, they start, they stop, they start, they stop, or they don't even start to begin with. And so the first thing that if there's anything that I want to grow, first thing I actually do is stop. And what I mean by stop is I stop overthinking, I stop overanalyzing, I stop over preparing, and I just freaking start. I just start. I use this example on a few different things, like these hotlines that I'm doing. I've done a lot of coaching, I've done a lot of the stuff, but I've never done quite like this. Is you should have seen the first setups I've had and all the stuff. It was just not great, the messes and all that stuff, and it's still not perfect. But the point is, just freaking start. Is don't overthink it, because the next part, what you do is once you start. Next thing is that you structure. Structure is that you need to make a commitment to specific times that you're going to focus on that activity. So with your team, if you're feeling disconjointed, is that you need to structure specific days, times, and then obviously location is going to be on Zoom or whatever it is that we're meeting. Even if we have nothing to talk about, we're going to meet because we want to build that structure. Like for me, I record every Friday, with exception last week I had some problems come up, but is with the exception is Friday from 10 to 12, right? That's structured. If I have nothing to talk about, I'm gonna go talk in front of the camera and just yell and just scream and rant, and who knows, I might have a viral video. But the point is, I structure it because if you don't structure it, it doesn't happen, or doesn't happen frequently. And growing at anything takes the discipline to do it. Like if I want to build these muscles, is I can't do it doing it once a month or 3 times per month. I have to have the structure.
Now you tell me.
What's that?
Now you tell me.
Yeah, right. Watch out, baby. But then once you structure, the next is you strengthen. Strengthen is simply making it better. And every time you do it is that, what can I do to make it a little bit better? Not wholesale changes, a little bit better. Like, I'll go back to these videos, is like I noticed that the lighting wasn't as good, so I'm playing, jerking around with the lighting a little bit, or the camera angle. I mean, that's stupid, but let's just say with your meetings, is our meetings, okay, we're doing them, but we are wasting a lot of time. What can I do a little bit differently to improve the meeting? Or what can I do a little bit differently to train Misty, or whatever it might be? Once you strengthen it to a point where it's like, okay, things are good, never perfect, which is fine, is that you systematize it. Systematize, how do you spell it? Whatever, close enough. You systematize it. This is where you make your SOPs. This is where you're writing things down, that this is how we follow it. Because if you need to hire somebody else to help you with it, or somebody quits, or you want to get somebody involved to help you, you have your system down. Like, one next thing for me with this content and structure and things, I'm doing a lot of content, is I don't have a whole team helping with this because I'm not strengthened yet. I don't have all my structure. I gotta make sure everything is good before I spend money, and make sure everything's systematized. But then once you have that, this is the fun part, is you scale. And then you can do it at a much higher level and putting gas on the fire. People want to scale before they have structure, before they strengthen, before they have systematize. And that's where they fall apart. I had a guy, local guy here, because I was looking, okay, maybe I'll hire somebody to record the videos for me. And, because I don't know much about this stuff. And he wanted to charge me $14,000. And I'm like, dude, I have nobody watching me. I don't have any of this stuff going. I have no idea what I'm quite doing yet. Yeah, I've done a lot of ads before, but ads is different than content. Why would I spend that kind of money for that kind of production value when I don't have any of this other stuff yet? And like, people, you might say that's obvious, but also people do this too when they hire. Is they hire a person to scale, but they don't have any system in place for them. They have no structure. And what they have in place is not even right, because it's just the sloppiest version that they could do. Whatever it is that you do, that you want to grow, whether it's what you're doing with 24/7. The thing I will tell you with 24/7 mindset with Wally and Kai is that, and they're working on making it more simplified, is that there's so much to it. People get lost in the mass of it. Is that just stop overthinking it and just start. Pick one wealth partner, in my opinion, or your database, and just start with that, and then you grow from there. And you can implement this same, I call it Slump Buster, the same Slump Buster into it. Is this helpful?
Oh yeah, definitely. We something that happens all the time. We actually have a weekly meeting set up twice a week on our calendar. We don't respect it. We get busy, and that's something that we need to get better at as a team.
It's right there. Finish that structure, because if you don't have that structure of it happening, you can't then do the next parts. You can't strengthen it, and you certainly can't systematize it.
Mm-hmm.
So it all starts, you started it, but now we have to structure it, make sure it happens. And like, even with when I was still producing, is I would do my status updates Tuesdays and Fridays, is that I would tell the realtor, I'm going to call you no matter what. Even if I have nothing to tell you, because I already updated you that whatever was in, I'm still going to call you to even let you know, right? It's because I created that structure and that familiarity and that comfort. And then if something happened, I was so regimented with it, is if something happened where I couldn't make the call, sick, issued the kid or whatever it was, or complete brain fart, which that usually didn't happen, but if it did, is I'd have realtors that would actually call me and say, is everything okay? I didn't get my call today, right? You want to create that much structure in what you're doing, is that when you break that structure, people wonder what's wrong. All right, brother, we have to hop. Sorry, I know I don't even let John talk. I feel bad, man. It's like, sorry, brother. But Steve, you heading to UWM live next week?
No, man. I was at UWM the week before, and then I was at Tennessee, so I just couldn't take that time off. We're actually starting to
Totally understand, brother. Totally understand. Cool, brother. Well, I hope to meet you in person soon, and I appreciate you jump on and keep me posted how things go. All right.
All right, Steve.
See you, brother.